Hello and welcome back to the Celtic Kickoff. Well, we've had defeats, we've had big wins on the road, and we've got the Calcutta Cup in sight. Joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host Dan. How are you getting on, bud?
I'm fantastic. I'm good today. I'm glad that Glasgow got a win. It was my only bit of salvation for Scottish rugby over the weekend. We had Ireland and then watching Edinburgh lose to Zebre, and I was praying for Glasgow. And after that first 10 minutes when Glasgow were 10-0 down, I text you and I
You
was like,
text me, yeah.
oh no, it's going to be this all over the board, isn't it?
Well, we'll get into it because one of the most embarrassing defeats in a long time happened on Friday night at the Hive. Just Edinburgh losing to Zebre 22-17. I'm not taking anything away from Zebre because they were class. They thoroughly deserved that, but Sean Everett needs to just leave. I am begging. I am actually begging now. I've seriously had enough.
It's it was hard to watch. Like
Mm.
it was weird because you're in two minds. The Edinburgh players individually, player for player, looked clearly better, looked faster, they looked stronger, they actually looked fitter. But Zebri were so well drilled, um, and Edinburgh just weren't. Like they weren't getting back on side quick.
Yep.
Zebri have been taking quick tap and goals all season. Edinburgh just were never prepared for them. And it's just like basic coaching things that should be drilled into you were just missing.
Yep.
Um,
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it was actually you that sent me it because I was in too much enragement that so Luke Crosby gets a very important score. The game's not finished yet.
72nd minute or something like that.
Yeah,
Like 10
game's
minutes
game still to
slow.
play for, and like every game, it pans straight over to the coach to see him like jump for joy, and Sean Everett sitting there like a puss like thunder.
Yep.
And that's the best way I can say it and it wasn't just his emotion when we scored. It was his emotion when Zebri went a man down. It's his face when Zebri went two men down. It's when Edinburgh went a man down. Didn't change. The emotion never changed. I'm like, at least pretend that you actually want to be here.
Yeah. And look for him, it can't be easy. Look on the other end because if he's in a job where the fans don't like him and he doesn't want to be here, that's a pretty tough environment to stay in every week.
Just leave then. Nobody's gonna think bad of him if he left. Probably be praised if he did, to be honest.
So it's an odd one. He just felt defeat. Look, and I'm not sure as that is he telling the players to do something and they're not doing what he tells them to do, or it feels like Edinburgh don't have any direction, they don't have any plan. It's almost like I said to you on the phone that it's like they practice fitness drills all week, and just basic passing that, no actual game plan, and they
Yeah.
just go right lads, out you go. Because they're
But
stupid things. Like they would pass it backwards and they would do these high balls. And it's like, okay, you've rather, if you got the ball back, we made no yardage or went backwards.
yeah.
But it was just like they ran out of ideas. It was like, pass it back, high ball. Their attack, their backs have no cutting lines, no running lines. They're meant to have brought over that specialist attack coach. I don't see anything from it. It's just side to side, side to side.
He
And then
he
he
got stuck into my rant on TikTok about it when I was just like, oh, but he's won the MLR. Yeah, I'm not being rude, right? Great achievement from a personal point of view. And an actual like rugby perspective, the MLR, no one cares. It's not a big deal.
no.
Have you ever watched it?
No, I can
It's
honestly say,
terrible.
like I've
I
seen
hate it.
highlights of games from the MLR, but I've never sat down and
No,
watched an MLR game before.
it's tragic. It's so piss poor. But and then you'll get people like, oh, but there's Matt Anonu. Matt Anonu is 41 years old now. Calm
Right.
down. It's not great. I can't watch it.
The Looking at the URC table, it flashed up after the Glasgow game that we'll move on to in a second. But
Mm.
Zebri now they're above
Yeah, there's done Zebri's done. I think this is her fourth one of the season.
Yeah.
They've got 2 away wins on the bounce. Not bad
So
for a team that's meant to be not there next season. So there you go.
yeah, I mean, there's only 5, 6 points between like 14th and ninth,
Yeah, it's real
or
tight.
or eighth. I mean, outside of outside of the Dragons, who are out of the running really,
Mm.
um, everybody else can still make playoffs. Like every other team in the league can still make playoffs, which is mental.
It is, but that's the joy. That is the joys of the URC.
Yeah,
But I'm so frustrated now. I did the 3 things series that I do every week. There's a big positive, and I will mention it because he does deserve praise. Masesi to Porto. You put
yeah,
respect on that family name because he's living up to people going, oh, can he play like Sione? Yes, he can. They're
yep.
still very different, but like he was creating gaps in that Zebra defense. He got a good try. And the
Hmm.
issue is, again, you touched on that about the individuals. Nobody was with him. There was so many clean breaks that Masesi was making.
Hmm.
Nobody's round with him. Wes Houston. I know a fullback has to work harder in the defence or in the attack, but my God,
Everything by himself.
yeah, absolute farce. Emiliano Buffelli that hasn't played rugby since September. Played
Yeah.
43 minutes, and it was a solid 43 minutes because you've not played that long.
Hmm.
But again, he had to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
Hamish Watson, Luke Crosby had to do stuff off their own back because there was no one round. I lost count of how many times I've seen Bowen Vinter pick up from the tail of a rock and just hit up because there's no options.
Yeah. We I think not only coach wise, um, Edinburgh need a full clear out. I said to you that I reckon that probably about a third of their squad they should send down to England or abroad.
Hmm.
Um, just who aren't cutting it. Keep the young lads or one or two sort of key players at Edinburgh. Another third of the squad, I reckon, send off to Glasgow, but I would take a third of the Glasgow squad of similar value. So,
Hmm.
like for like type players of similar quality and put them across to Edinburgh just to get rid of whatever horrible mentality has sunk into this Edinburgh squad from
Hmm.
all facets to turn it around. But
I hate talking like that. I really hate talking like this. I do.
yeah, don't worry,
But
don't worry. We've been on it almost 10 minutes, so we'll move on to Glasgow in a sec.
fine. I hate we say all the time that we don't want to be like footballers that oh the results aren't going our way, sack the coach. But I honestly don't know what else to do anymore.
Mhm. And I mean, there's definitely more to play here than Everett, right? I think there's a Edinburgh's become a soft place for internationals where it's a big club, you
Mm.
get a fairly large wages, and you sort of just coast. Uh, and I think there's a big group of players in that, but ultimately it is the head coach's job to turn it around. But let's be honest, there's more than one coach that, with the resources that Edinburgh has gone in and tried to turn it around and not been able to turn it around. So like
I
that
just
these two things is rather the players at Edinburgh are nowhere near the level that we think they are, which I don't believe is true,
mm,
or there's a horrible mentality within the club and something's rotten and needs to be changed because Edinburgh throughout most of the time of the URC or the Pro 14, Pro 12, the Magners League or the Celtic League, whatever it used to be, Edinburgh have always been a bit guff, regardless of the players that they've had. And
yeah.
I want, look, if I'm not working, um, and there's a game on, a home game on, I'm always there.
Mhm.
I've travelled to see some away games as well. I mean, they're few and far between, but if I can, I will. So I want to see Edinburgh get better, but ultimately it needs a full clear out, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I just think it probably isn't all Sean Everett's fault, but the fact that Ben Healy got dropped, Hamish Watson got dropped, Magnus
Yep.
Bradbury got dropped. I know he's now suspended, but he got dropped, and like the rotation just wasn't. It wasn't like tactical. It was like somebody said something to you in training, and you took that to heart.
Yeah.
But it's like the Gloucester game. Like, oh, it's great to let us use the youth. That wasn't tactical. You really wanted that Benetton win, and we nearly got buggered by that.
Yeah. And luckily,
There's just
we still
no,
topped the group,
yeah,
but for at the time, at that point of the European campaign,
mm.
that Challenge Cup group could have gone really ugly for us.
They could have, yeah. And like then, like, oh, we had an away trip to Vans. Now we were sitting going, okay, go a bit lighter, and he
Yeah.
went full noise. I'm like, this fixture list doesn't make sense because you're meant to go full noise against Leinster, Glasgow. I know we've not had them yet, but like Munster, blah 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 blah. And yet we're going full noise against the Black Lions and Vans, and I'm like, you're doing it wrong. And I'm not a coach, right? But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. Like, see if he went full youngsters against Zebra and we got beat. Fine,
Yeah.
fine. That was a strong team considering we don't have internationals there.
Yeah, there was a strong, strong team. I think Edinburgh could still field on paper a stronger side than most clubs in the
I
URC.
said I mean I texted to you that I thought just on paper that Edinburgh team against Zebra was a stronger lineup than what Glasgow put out.
Yeah. Look,
Not in every position, but for the most part, I was like, it's a strong team.
it's the mentality. The thing is, the weirdest thing about this, right, is I think the best Edinburgh have looked all season was the opening game. Like you and I
Yeah,
went to see us play Leinster the opening game. What was it? 35-33, something like that.
something like that. Yeah, nail biter,
Yeah.
but
Um,
oh,
and we looked good on that game. I'm not sure if it's just because Leinster were, we caught them cold and they were rusty, but of course we went to South Africa then. We got absolutely gubbed afterwards.
you know what annoys me? We lost that round one to Leinster at home, and then we won every home game since then
Yeah.
until the Derby game on Friday.
Yeah,
Like of all the teams to lose that streak to,
that was it.
yeah,
let's wrap this up.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Move on to sort of cheerier topics of
yeah,
conversation and cheerier
cheerio.
matches.
Yes,
Um,
Glasgow getting the win, and the Newport down at Rodney Parade. It
uh-huh.
wasn't going all their way. I will praise the Dragons. They were right up, especially that first half.
Yeah,
10
right.
0 kept Glasgow quiet. 24-20 at halftime to the Warriors. And then that second
That
half,
last minute try really brought Dragons back into it.
it did. It did indeed. But like Warriors were great. I mean, George Horn getting a double.
Mm-hmm.
He is really putting his hand up for Scotland selection.
Yeah,
And
he
I know
always
that
has.
although this is going to be interesting, and we all know he's going to do it because of how long the remainder of the season is. George Horn is one try away from equaling DTH van der Merwe for all-time top try scorer for Glasgow Warriors.
I saw that. That's mental. I hope he does it.
I hope he does it as well. It'll be nice.
He will do it. Let's be fair. He will do it.
Probably next game, just bang, three, done, mine. Yes.
Yeah. Uh,
No, George Horn was great. Duncan Weir, what a performance.
yeah, the pudding out and about.
But
Great. A gun to Beju, I thought had a good game as well. A player that
good to
wasn't
see
even
him
on my
back.
radar 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Making the fringes. I reckon he'll go on the summer tour.
I am so buzzing who got player of the match. So Jack Man.
Jack man, like
Oh,
he was great. I want to point out as well one or two other players, but we'll finish on Jack Man,
hmm.
who had a good game. Johnny Matthews scored a try, not from a driving maul today.
What was that? It was just about a mole. He just kind of cut off and then there was a pass.
He almost had a second one. I'm not
He
sure if you
did.
were
He
watching it
did.
when they held up and he went to the
Oh yeah,
ref.
he
The
shouted at the
ref
referee,
mate
I've
picked
scored
up.
that.
I've scored, mate.
I've scored that, lad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought he had a good game as well. Ewan Ferry, he's looking
Hmm.
some player.
Got a good few number of turnovers today, yeah? You and Ferry.
Yeah, he looks like a powerful ball carrier as well.
But speaking of powerful ball carriers, Jack Man. Oh my god.
His spatial awareness was great as well. Like every time he saw a gap, he was gone. Like how many clean
Wow.
breaks did he make? At least 3 or 4.
Yeah, he was setting up great passing to George Horn's first try. I don't think he scored from it, but he set up Cancellieri to get very close.
Yeah.
Jack Man himself got on the score sheet. Yeah, he was everywhere, and you could almost smell the Scotland debut coming in the Six Nations.
Well, I was about to ask you that. Do you think he'll get a game against England?
Not against England because Glasgow played on the Sunday and Scotland played on the Saturday. I think that might be a bit too much of a turnaround. I could
Especially
be wrong. I could be wrong, but player welfare and all
Wales
that.
then.
Wales probably. I could imagine Jack Mann comes off the bench, makes his debut, and just smashes some poor depleted Welshman that's having a rough time of it.
Oh yeah.
Not naming names because there are some Welsh players that I actually quite like. So,
Yeah.
but-
Oh,
oh
sorry. Toulouse's score just popped up on my phone, and they didn't use Kinghorn.
no, Kinghorn's in Spain with the rest of Scotland boys.
Oh, I thought he would have had to have gone back. No, they
I
have.
yeah, I'm the exact same. Fergus Burke's over in Spain as well. Saracens because it
Okay.
was the Prem Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't use them.
All right. All
So
right. That's good.
thank you to the big teams for not using our players. Much appreciated. Love that.
Yeah, for once.
For
Yeah, I wonder
once,
if Ben White
very
got used
thank
by Toulon.
Say that again.
I wonder if Ben White got used by Toulon.
Nope. I checked the team sheet. He was not on the he was not on the squad list either.
Okay, so
Oh,
we
oh,
actually got away with one. Wow.
thank you. Thank you to the big boys for not violating our players on a foul week.
Which usually doesn't happen. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
assuming that Finn Russell wasn't down at Bath.
no.
No,
He
great.
wouldn't have been allowed anyway because he failed his HIA.
Oh no, he passes HIE. They decided not to let him back on. But officially, he actually passed.
But because he couldn't remember stuff.
Yeah, I know, but by a
I
box
know.
exercise, and officially he passed, even though he wasn't right. Officially, he passed.
I don't believe Finn did feature anyway. So
But yeah, look, Jack Mann, he might be on the bench against England. Like, I don't think he'll start, but
he
you
might
know,
be. The thing is, right? I'd love it. I'm just saying no because of just the turnaround. That's the only reason I'm saying no.
it'll be him or Jamie Ritchie that'll be on the bench. It'll be one of the two.
Jamie Rich again. That sweet, sweet Euro coming soon.
But anyway, look, just before we move on to Scotland, because I feel like we glossed over a lot of Glasgow. It was what 45-20 to Glasgow,
45-20. Yeah, big
and
win.
it was weird. It was a game that I felt that both sides deserved more. Like I thought that
Mm.
Dragons probably deserved a try bonus point because they got lucky in a bit. I think that Glasgow easily left 3 or 4 tries out there as well. Like Glasgow made a lot of errors in the final third. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I was sort of wanting it once they got the last try to get over the 50 mark, but it wasn't to be. But look, a 5 point win away from home when I think the commentator said something like 16 players were away, which is,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
and then they've got God knows how many players injured at the moment as well. So they're missing overall, 20 plus players and are
So spot.
still,
Yeah.
putting on, 45, well, scoring 45 points away from home, taking away the try bonus point. They put some distance between themselves and third now.
Mm-hmm.
So Glasgow are sort of cemented in second, 10 points behind Leinster. So
Mm-hmm.
you hope that they bring it back. I know 10 points seems like a lot, but what you have to remember is the last game of the regular URC season is Leinster versus Glasgow. So
And
if
Leinster still need to go to South Africa as well. So
sorry,
Leinster still need to do their South African tour as well.
yeah. So even if Glasgow are within 4 or 5 points come the final round, they can do it. I mean, let's be fair. I think most of us suspect the URC final will probably be Leinster versus Glasgow. It's just, is the game going to be held in Murrayfield or is the game going to be held in the Aviva? That's sort of
Maybe not a Murrayfield.
Yeah. So I'm hoping so too. Um,
Just because I want to go
I'll let
tomorrow.
you borrow my Glasgow shirt for the day, and you can go down.
No, I have a Glasgow Cup. It's fine.
Uh, yeah. Okay. Well, look, that's us. For about 20 minutes in, we've touched. Oh, actually, one last thing before we move to the Calcutta Cup. Franco
Mm.
Smith.
Frank Smith. Yes.
Yeah. So he was asked at the end of the game, "Oh, let's address the elephant in the room. Are you taking the Wales job?" And essentially, he he said no. Like, I'd heard from a fairly reliable source that Franco Smith wasn't interested in international rugby. He wanted to be involved in it day to day, and he just wasn't interested in any international job. But he didn't shoot it out of hand today, so I'm thinking what I heard might have been, not as true as I thought it was. He didn't say no, because I know Scotland fans are waiting to see how the Six Nations turns out, to see if Franco's going to take over from Tooney. But
Mm.
yeah, he essentially sort of confirmed that, he's had contact from Wales, but he didn't go any further than that.
It's always I hate questions like this. It's the same when like in the autumn because he didn't do them in the first 2 weeks of Six Nations. Every defeat Wales had in the autumn nations, first question to Gatland was, "Are you going to walk away? Are you going to get sacked?" I'm like, who asks people that? Did you
Yeah.
think he's going to say, "Yeah, I'm about to walk out the office right now"? Like,
I mean,
it's the same with like they do it with players. Like, oh, if you're like eligible for two countries, like, oh, are you going to pick this country? It's like, you just have to wait and see. Like, they're not going to like, I'm picking Scotland.
the thing is, the Wales job. If I'm the head of the WRU, I don't think there's anybody else in world rugby better suited for Wales than Franco. Because when he was in charge of Italy, he brought through, was it 13 new players he gave the debut to from the under 20 squad?
Yeah,
Um,
something like that. Yeah.
and like, he didn't have a lot to work with, but he does it with Glasgow, where he brings through players that no one else sees, and he finds things in them, and he makes it work, and he turns them into better players. I think
Mm.
that Franco could probably turn around Wales. I reckon within 2 or 3 years, he could turn that Welsh team around, in my opinion. Personally,
Let us win the Six Nations first, and then do what you want.
yeah, I'd love him. I'd love him to take over from Townsend. For you that don't know, I'm on the Townsend out bandwagon. Not because I think Townsend's a bad coach. I actually think Townsend's a fairly good coach, and I think he has improved Scotland a lot. But a lot of people, will forget about his successes in and how much he's improved us. Just, especially with the reaction after the Ireland defeat. But I think Townsend over the last 2 or 3 years has reached a level now where Scotland, I wouldn't say they've gone backwards, but they've definitely plateaued.
Mm.
And I don't see us getting any better. And I think both for Townsend as a coach and for Scotland, it's probably better that he moves on. Like, if let's just say he went to Australia, for instance, broadened his horizons, became a better
Mm.
coach, did one or two things outside of Scotland, working, with different rules, different types of players. And you never know, 10 years down the line, we could be welcoming back,
No, no,
Townsend for a
no,
second stint.
no, no. I'm not a Townsend out person, just to clarify. But if you finish up, don't come back. Don't do it. It never works. Look at the history, not just for Scotland. It just look at Gatland. It didn't work.
Gatland's a bit different, man.
People want Van Cotter back. No, don't do it. He was a great coach. I loved Van Cotter. No, don't do it. It's so bad. Ian McGeechan came back and it went to shit. Don't like we have all these great coaches. Once they're finished, leave them. Don't touch them. Don't talk to them. Nothing. Leave them.
Uh, I don't think it's a one size fits all. I'd have to disagree with you on that one. But
No,
I see
no.
where you're coming from.
I just no. It's one of those things. It's the same with coaching. Club rugby. If you go, oh, such and such is coming back, stop. Regardless of how the first tenure went, if the first tenure went crap and you sacked them, definitely do not bring them back.
You don't go
If
back to your ex.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Basically,
Yeah.
everything ends for a reason. Whether you've just had enough or they've had enough of you, that's how it works. So if you've been sacked the first time round, you definitely ain't coming back. If
Yeah.
you are successful and you win trophies and your contract runs out and you leave, great. Don't come back because we've already then got, wow, look what happened. And then it doesn't happen. So don't. Just, no, it's my one big thing
All
in
right, okay.
rugby.
I'll
I hate it.
respectfully disagree with you on that, but I get where you're coming from. I get your
Yeah,
point,
that's fine.
but it still, for me, it doesn't. I think that without more experience,
Mm,
Townsend's probably reached this level. Like if he was the head coach for the Lions, like we thought maybe 4 years ago that he might have been,
mm,
there might have been a case to make that after the Lions he might be a slightly better coach,
mm.
but
You might
he's
go away with them again this year. You never know.
maybe. But I think the teams around us are improving at a faster rate than Scotland is. Um, like we've undoubtedly improved under him, but I feel like we're sort of plateauing now. And if we don't keep up, we're going to fall behind. Franco's the man to identify new blood. He's in his 2 seasons at Glasgow. He's made a European Cup final, and he's taken them to win the URC. And look, who knows what he's going to do with them this season. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Franco Smith would be the man for me. If we lost him to the Welsh, I think that leaves us in a bad scenario because if Townsend then loses to England and France, he'll probably be out the door. So we'll have to end up looking for a new Scotland manager and then a new Glasgow Warriors head coach as well. Um, so it'll be
Simple. You push Sean Everett across to the west, let them see how we feel for a minute. Pete Horn comes in at Edinburgh, and we did do like a short list last week on Townsend replacements.
yeah.
I'm not saying I'd be against Ron O'Gara. I think it'd be very hard to get Ron O'Gara because he's in contract and he's made that clear that he's wanting to ride that out. Leon
He
McDonald
also said he's
is
open for any international
I
job.
know, I know. It's really coaches are weird. They're like, no, I want to stay loyal to this team till this point, and
But
then
they
oh,
have
but
to, especially in France, where it's sort of footballification with their rugby clubs. There's
oh,
so much money. He has to do that. Like I reckon, if I think that Ronan O'Gara is Scotland's number two choice.
probably is. I think. Right, let's just say Franco Smith is Welsh head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does come down to Ronan O'Gara or Leon McDonald. And actually, I think if Scottish Rugby played their cards right, you could get both.
Yeah. I mean,
And there's a clip on its own. Boom.
yeah. I mean, who was it I said last week that I'd love? Was it Steve
Steve
Hansen?
Hansen. I sent you an interview during the week of why he's not doing international rugby again.
I know it took a big effect on his family and that, but and people say that, and then they come out of it for the love of the
No,
game.
no, I know.
So
Obviously, I would not say no to Steve Hansen. Let's
yeah,
just clarify that right now. But for all intents and purposes, Franco Smith, Ron O'Gara, Leon McDonald. If Franco Smith goes to Wales, your Ron O'Gara and Leon McDonald will be in contention. And like I said, if Scottish Rugby play their cards right, you could probably have Ron O'Gara as Scotland head coach, and you could have Leon McDonald as Glasgow head coach. Because I can't see or assistant with Pete Horn taking a head coach role.
yeah.
Either way, that sounds that sounds lovely. That sounds really good.
Well, if Townsend does leave Scotland, where does he go? Well, I suppose it depends if he walks or if he gets the sack.
See, mm, I was going to say something, but it sounds a bit harsh the way I was about to word it.
Or
Kind of almost like, oh, I don't care. I do. I'm like, when Vern Cotter left, I was like, oh, okay. And then he did Fiji. I was like, oh. And it's one of them like when they get hired, you're like, oh, good for them, you know. But I'm
Yeah.
not like openly pursuing who's getting them.
Mm. I mean, Australia would probably be my top guess at the
I
moment.
think he could. I think I could see him. Maybe not head coach, but he might take a step back and become like an attacking coach for Australia, or
I think he sees himself as a head coach.
probably does, yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, I could see him taking on Australia. Or I mean, if he was to be a head coach, I know he's highly regarded in France. So I could see him
Yes,
taking
he
over
is.
a club side in France. And I think he speaks French, doesn't he? He's fluent in French, I believe.
Oh, I don't know. If you look at
And
Townsend's playing career, he was a journeyman.
yeah,
He's played everywhere.
but I know at one point when it looked like Townsend was out the door, the French Rugby Union did inquire about Townsend's availability to go
Yes,
on
I
as
remember that.
assistant coach for the French national side. So that could be somewhere.
Maybe
Or, I
not.
mean, if Galtier doesn't have good Six Nations, that'd be a weird one, seeing him take over the French job.
Do we get Gauchi just a straight switch?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure it's which. I mean, I don't think Galtier would come to Scotland. I don't think he's someone that Scotland wants. But
There you go.
let's just say Franco goes to Scotland, but then Turi goes to France.
That's weird, man.
Could see it. Anyway,
That was a
let's
good topic.
move on to the
Good
main
topic
event.
point.
If
And
we
it's
get a chance, we will do another pod, but right now I'm going to assume that we're not going to get a chance. So let's just dive straight into the
another pod for what?
sorry.
Another pod for what?
Sometimes we do preview pods, after squads come out and that we do a bonus pod, but we can make no promises. So we're diving straight into our Calcutta
Oh,
Cup
okay.
now.
Yeah, fair.
At the time of recording, this is Sunday evening, so we've not even had the squad updates yet. We're still ages away from England or Scotland unveiling the squad, so we're going to have
How's
to,
England's named their training squad? Because Borthwick likes to do this. Like
yeah,
we do a squad update, like such and such is out. These are in. Steve Borthwick decides to go, here's your full team, and then you have to guess who's in. And it's stupid because he's only brought in three of them.
here's your full team. I mean,
And
I don't
I'm
get that.
convinced half
I like the way that we do it.
I
Because
like the way we do
when
it.
you do the full team, you have to work out, okay, who's in, who's out. But Scotland just go, so and so have left, so has
And he's
joined up
in.
with the rest of the
Yeah.
group. Yeah,
Nice and easy. Sorted.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the three that was in were already in. So
Uh-huh.
like they did the here's your squad in the build up to who did they play? France. And then they had the off week last week, or this week, sorry.
Mhm.
And some players went back to squad to their clubs. And
Yeah.
he's updated it again today. And I'm looking at it like, is there a difference? Like Premiership Rugby put up Ben Spencer's in the England team. I was like, he was
He
already
was
in the England
already.
team. Yeah, he was. I'm like, am I missing something here? Anyway, that's
So,
stupid.
I mean, there's a good chance that he might play against Scotland, Ben Spencer, if it's a horses for courses. I know they prefer Mitchell, but just with his intimate knowledge of how Finn Russell thinks and how Finn Russell plays, it wouldn't surprise me if they went with Spencer, if they went for like Finn Smith and Spencer. Do you think they go Finn or
Mm,
Marcus at 10?
I think they go Finn.
Yeah, me too.
I think Finn, because you said it that England were going to lose and they were all going to blame it on Finn Smith. And ironically, England won and Finn Smith got player of the
I
match.
did say the only way that Finn Smith doesn't get the blame is if he wins the game.
Yeah.
And he did. He did. And look, I've been saying it for fucking months and months and months. At 10, Finn Smith is twice the player that Marcus is.
And do you
Twice.
know who's twice the player of Finn Smith? Finn Russell, because he's got two N's in his name. It's a
Yeah.
shit joke, but I'm sticking with it.
That's where all the power comes. Uh,
Double N, yeah.
it's then who they play at fullback. Does Freddie Stewart come back in for England or does Marcus play?
I think Marcus plays a fullback. I think Steve Borthwick's in that mindset of it's worked once, let's do it again.
the thing is, if Doohan makes a line break, the amount of missed tackles
Poor Marcus
that
Smith's going to
Marcus
get
has had on
steamrolled.
Doohan over the years is he's had a few.
I mean, Duhan's try scoring record against England's already insane. Could you imagine, like, poor Marcus, like, I've got him. Bless you.
It's
No, you
I,
don't.
I, I, must, I think averages out about 2 tries a game against England. I
Yeah,
think.
he scored six against. He loves it.
Yeah. Do he's played
He's
three
always
games and scored 6 tries, has he? Against
just.
England.
I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna explain it. He's gonna score four this year. Do you know why? Because the first time he played England, he got one try. Second time, two. Then last year, hat trick. So four for this year, Duhan.
We win with a bonus point all from
Just
Doohan.
Duhan's like, I'm the BP.
I know the English call him Doohan the Destroyer, and then it extends to Doohan the Destroyer of English hearts. So
Just
I hope
imagine having him as your captain for fantasy and he scores four tries.
yeah, this is the one I've not had Doohan in my fantasy said at all in the Six Nations, but bet your bottom dollar he's going in my
Oh
squad
yeah,
uh,
100%.
this round.
Um,
I'm flying down to England on Friday morning, and you have graciously accepted to drive me to the airport at the buttfuck time about 3 or 4 in
yeah,
the
because you
morning.
give me cash. Yeah, you give me cash. It's hard to turn down. When
Yeah,
you're a stay-at-home dad and a content creator that doesn't make anything, yeah, you take what you're given. Yeah,
I'll give you a crate of beer for the game as well.
thanks, man. I mean, I might be joining you. I have entered competition, so we'll see what happens.
That'd be weird. You drop me off at the airport. I, I give
2 hours
you
later, I phone you like, where are you at? I'm
cash
turning
and
up.
beer, and then just we'll see you in the stadium. What? Wait.
Surprise!
That'd be funny, man.
So, are we winning five in a row?
What against England?
Yeah.
Um,
Your pessimism's already bringing me down, man. Jesus.
I hope so.
That's not what I asked.
I hope so. No,
No,
no.
get out.
Late the call. I really, really hope I'm wrong. I think it'll be tight. I know England beat France, but England didn't look great, and France looked poor. Of the amount of injuries we have, and that heavy Ireland defeat's taken the wind out of my sails a little bit. Um, I thought it was
You
going to
know,
be a tight, tight game before we lost Ireland.
do you know what I think takes the wind out of ourselves? The fallow week. I hate it.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather just.
But I understand players need rest. Fine. Do one. If you really need it, do one. You either play 3 games on the bounce and have a break, or you play two. Either way, you're playing three on the bounce. Actually, that was a stupid thing to say.
No.
I knew what I meant, but it came out really stupid. Anyway, I apologize for
I mean, I think
that.
it's the fact that domestic rugby is so funny around the fallow weeks. That
I texted you yesterday this. Right, so I love Super Rugby, but Super Rugby is on the other side of the world. So my day was done by 10:30 in the morning.
it's,
I'm like, great.
yeah,
What else am I
get
going
into
to
it and
do?
just record
Yeah,
record the games and then watch them throughout the day.
I might have to.
It's weird. Like I watched the Glasgow game today, and then that was
Mhm.
it. I was sort of bored up until about 2 o'clock. Turned on the Glasgow game, and then by the time that was done, I was like, oh, so
Okay. Yeah.
so
Although, I'm already more excited going into this week because it's Six Nations and I don't mean this badly, it's proper rugby. I love club rugby. I love watching my teams play. But see, when their internationals are away, don't care particularly.
yeah. When there's international rugby on, that is the main event. That's the
Like
main.
I got invited to the point I got invited years ago to go down to a Gloucester game. What would have been about this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the date and I answered went, no, I'm not going. No, why not? I was like, because no one's going to be there.
Yep. It's it's a bit deflating when the Six Nations is over as well. It's all right, back to the norm. As much as I love club rugby, because after the Six Nations are done, you always have that 2 weeks where the club
No,
rugby
everyone's
has
back
gone
here.
back to normal, but none of the internationals are playing.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause you'll see, like, I'll just use him because he doesn't play rugby anymore. Like, Lewis Rees-Zammit. Six
Yeah,
Nations done. Oh, he's in Dubai. I'm like, what? What?
yeah. It's it's a damn shame.
It is. But
So
anyway, Calcutta
on
Cup.
the injury front, I don't think we've not had any confirmation yet. We doubt that Darcy is going to play
The
against England.
time, the time frame Darcy would have, if I read it correctly, he wouldn't be allowed to train with the squad till Friday. So
Day before the
that,
game.
so he can't play.
Yeah,
I mean, he could, but that's a ballsy
yeah.
move.
We think, as far as I'm aware, Kyle Stain is back fit now. Um,
Right.
so he may play extra. I don't know how long he's been training with the Scotland squad before he was allowed to play.
I
So
mean,
it
you've
depends
still
if he.
got.
Hmm?
I'm saying even if Kyle Stain's not fit, you still got Kyle Rowe and Aaron Reid.
Aaron Reid. I mean, out of the three of them, I prefer Stain.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be the strongest option. But it's one of these things where if Kyle Stain hasn't been training that long, I might not pick him. But
Mm-hmm.
if he's been training with them since after the Ireland game, you know, or it might have been one of the things where he got fit just before the Ireland game, but wouldn't have been fit enough to play. So, but he might have been fit enough to train. So it really depends how long Stano's been training. But if he's match fit, I think he has to start. Um, if not, I'd probably go for Reed just because Rowe covers the backfield better.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Um,
So for my squad, and we're
okay,
going to dive into it in a minute. I've dropped staff.
you drop staff.
I've dropped staff. I don't want to. I just think if anyone was going to be dropped, it could be staff because Tom's stock has risen even more, especially considering how he handled the whole oh shit, I'm now 10.
Uh huh.
That sort of thing. So there's that. And I really want to see Rory Hutchinson in a Scotland jersey.
Yeah. Okay.
He's he's too good to not play this tournament.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the Wales game, there's going to be a lot of changes. I think we're going to see like Fergus Burke get his debut. I think Jack Mann will get his first start. I think there'll be, like I've said before to you offline, that I can see Scotland not disrespecting Wales, but trying out
Try
a
something new
different
for Wales.
squad, but with a stacked bench. Like I can see them, putting out
Give
the
her the
second
Italy
string
treatment.
for most of it, and then but
Mm-hmm.
the bench for the Wales game be like Pierre Schumann, Dave Cherry, Xander Fagerson,
Mm-hmm.
Grant Gilchrist, Matt Fagerson, Ben White, Finn Russell, and Blair Kinghorn, like being your bench to say, look, let's let these younger lads
Who
get
hurt you?
yeah, let's get these younger lads a bit of game time because no disrespect, we should be meeting Wales at home. And then if the game starts to get away from you, you've got that vast experience and
Mm-hmm.
jump up in quality to come on. And also, even if it doesn't, and you just give them all, 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, you sort of keep the match fit going into Super Saturday.
I mean, what a cruel trick. Let's just say we were 15 points up with a younger team against Wales.
Uh-huh.
15 points up, and 15, 20 minutes ago, you go, Schumann, Cherry, Fagerson, Gray, Fagerson, White, Russell, Kinghorn, go.
Just all at once.
Jesus. Haggis bomb.
The haggis bomb.
The Haggis bomb.
Tooney is dropped to the tartan tin.
Tartan tin
Or the
is
short red
everywhere.
tin.
There's tartan paint everywhere.
I'd be mad. All right, okay. So
Um,
before we go into our squads, then,
yeah,
where can Scotland hurt England, in your opinion? Like, what we're going to target them at?
I think for I don't know, Marcus Smith will be targeted when we're attacking because we all know like Marcus is a threat when he's attacking. We all know that. I think when we're attacking, we're going to try and do like little chips over the defense to get like Duhan or Hugh or even Blair in, and Marcus is going to have to learn how to defend that coming at you. I think to because Marcus is a great player. I know you don't think he is,
No, I
but
never said it. I think he's a great player. I just think the way that he plays, I think he's a selfish player,
okay.
and I just don't think his game management's there. But he is undoubtedly a fantastic player. I just don't think he's an international 10.
I just can't see. Let's just say like the crossfield kick that Duhan scored last year.
Yeah.
Like let's just say Finn just hits it on a dime, it bounces up. Duhan has to run a wee bit, put it a wee bit further back. I
Hmm.
can't see in any world Marcus Smith stopping Duhan at full tilt.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I
But
think
I also can't see him stopping the likes of Tom Jordan going full tilt if Tom Jordan was to make a break. I think we are going to target even just taking Marcus out and you're essentially bringing that extra defender in to go out wide.
uh-huh.
I think that would be our big. I think we can hand them in the scrum. I'm not saying that they've got a weak scrum.
See, I think that England are going to try and outpower us because that's probably
Probably.
their clearest advantage. I think Scotland are going to use their speed and their fitness. I think we're going to try and move the ball around a
Yeah.
lot, tire them out. If Kyle Stein is fit, I suspect that if Kyle Stein's fit, I could see a scenario where we pepper them with high balls.
And
Uh,
get straight to just even not catch it, just
yeah,
slap it back.
like because that's what Duhan does. He doesn't really get them in there, but Duhan
Just
slaps them back. Where Kyle
volleyball style.
Stein is probably one of the best players in Europe under the high ball.
Do you know who else is
Georgia,
actually quite
great.
good at the? Sorry,
Hmm?
do you know who else is quite good at the volleyball knockback?
Who?
Jamie Ritchie. I'm not saying
Yeah,
start on, but that
yeah.
could come in handy. Just nope, mine.
I saw an English commentator today talking about that. He thinks that Richie might start. They think they might go Richie and Darge just for the speed element of it. I agree with him with the speed. I don't think you play Richie and Darge together. I like them both individually. They're both versatile players. I just think it makes your pack a wee bit lightweight. You play one or the other. You don't play both. That's just my opinion. I think if Staines fit, just because the back three, two at the back three are high ball specialists, we pepper the skies, especially when Marcus Smith at fullback, we pull him out of position, and then you try to get the ball out to Duhan. I think that you try to tire the big English pack, try and get them quick at the breakdown. I expect Scotland's breakdown speed will be rapid, and they'll try pull the big boys out of positions and try to exploit space. Um, I can't see us take them on. I'll be quite disappointed. I'll say this now if Townsend goes for a 6-2 split again.
I don't think we're going six
It's
two.
not it's not the way that Scotland play, it's not the way they should play. It doesn't suit us a 6-2 split. We need to go a 5-3, in my opinion.
I'm fine with it. I have got a 5-3. I've penciled in my squad, and obviously I'll.
My board is blank, so I'm going to let you talk for a second
Okay.
right there, and I'm going to quickly put down my squad.
So like I've said, I've penciled it down. I won't put. I'll say it to you, obviously, in this episode, but I will not post it on my personal TikTok till Tuesday at the earliest.
Uh-huh.
Tuesday, Wednesday is usually my predicted squad days. I've got Pierre Schumann, Dave
Hold
Cherry.
on. Let me get mine out first.
Why? You said I have to speak while you were writing.
All right, okay. Go on then.
GMO check. Rewind the tape. That's what Dan said.
That's not what I meant, but anyway.
What did you mean then? Do you
Oh,
want to
just
talk
talk
while
about
you're
something
writing it
else
out?
while I got up my squad so we could both
Right,
like
you go first then, since you've completely butchered that.
Hey, I'm not done. I've just got my forward pack here.
Right, proceed.
Right, okay, my forward pack, I think, is fairly self-explanatory. Schumann, Cherry, and Fagerson as your front three. My
Yes.
locks, I've gone Gray and Gilchrist.
Uh-huh.
And my back row forwards have gone Fagerson, Darge, and Dempsey.
Cool. All good so far.
Any changes?
Nope. That's exactly how I've got it written down.
Uh, hold on. The uh, you. This is great content, isn't it? um. So okay, backs. I am going to go White,
Yep.
Russell.
Mhm.
As your half backs, my centre. I've gone Tom Jordan starts 12, Hugh
Yep.
Jones at 13. My back
Mhm.
three, I've got Duhan van der Merwe, Kyle Stain, and Blair Kinghorn. If I'm pretty sure Stain's fit and he's been training for a while, but if I'm wrong on that, Stain comes out and Reed goes in instead.
Okay, I've got Kyle Rowe. But
Kyle Rowe. I like
anyway,
Kyle Rowe, but I just think his option, his versatility on the bench for the positions he covers.
right, so okay, so it's kind of spoiler from my bench, but I've either got Kyle Rowe starting or not at all.
Okay.
So anyway, into the bench. I imagine the bench is pretty much the same on a 5-3 split.
Sutherland, Ashman, who do you have as your tight?
Go hard.
Hard. All right, okay.
Then
Uh,
you've got Gregor Brown.
yeah, I love Gregor Brown actually. Gregor Brown
You've got
starts. Um,
Jamie Jamie Ritchie.
yeah, I'd
Or
agree.
actually, right, so I'm gonna
This would have been a
back
game
them.
for Bayless. If Bayless was fit, Bayless I would have had instead of Ritchie or Andy Christie. He's a big one that we're missing this
Mhm.
campaign as well.
So I'm saying Jamie Ritchie,
Hmm.
but there's a bit in the back of my head that I'd love to see Jack Man. I don't, but again, like I said earlier, the whole
Yeah.
turnaround thing, I don't know. So
You know
I'm just
what? I'm going the other way. I I'm going to start, man. I
you're gonna
just
start.
he's bulkier, he's heavier, and I think he's in better form than Jamie Ritchie right now. I'm going to go man over Ritchie. I'm going to stick my colours to the mast here.
Okay. I don't hate it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
the only reason I'm not going for it is the whole 6 day turnaround. And
Now, I don't
the
mind
boys
that.
are in
The thing
Spain.
is, I had written down Jamie Doby, and I've just crossed out, and I'm like, George Horn's also in great form.
Again, this is 6 day. Do you know what I mean? I have like see if it is Jack Man, George Horn, great, awesome. We know what they can bring. I'm just thinking it's also we're not in Edinburgh right now.
Yeah.
The boys are over in is it Girona? They're in Spain. I know that.
Um, I'm also going to go Fergus Burke on the
I've
bench.
got I've got Fergus Burke.
Yeah.
The 23s where I feel like we're going to be very different, potentially.
Hmm.
I've got Roy Hutchinson.
You got Hutchinson. I went Horn, Burke, and Rowe.
I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
why that.
is my three. The thing
So
is, I could potentially go Doby and Hutchinson. I can make a case for both of them as well.
so right now, again, we'll see what the squad update is. What I'm saying to you, especially the bench, is very unofficial.
Yeah.
I'm not looking anything in, but I can, for all intents and purposes, for the episode, I'm saying Jamie Ritchie and Jamie Doby.
Uh huh.
But come Tuesday or Wednesday, if you follow me on TikTok, I might have Jack Mann and George Horn. I might have a mix of both. You never know. You'll have to stay tuned.
Hold on. Let's quickly go through. I want to see the positions that we disagree on. So the forwards, I think we were in agreement on all eight, weren't we? Schumann, Cherry, Fagerson, Gray, Gilchrist, Fagerson, Darge, Dempsey, in total agreement.
Hogan.
White and Russell's are halfbacks.
Yes.
We both.
Although, wait a minute. So let's just say Finn. Oh no, he was passed. So he should be fine. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh no, no. But what were we going to say?
I was going to say let's just say because of the report that came out after that Finn couldn't remember stuff.
Uh huh.
Well, let's just say Finn's not 100%.
Yeah.
Do you then Stick Tom Jordan in at 10 and have Rory Hutchinson starting at 12? Or do you start Staff at 12? Do you know what I mean? Well, this is without Finn. How would you do it?
For me, if Finn was injured, Jordan goes in
10.
10 and Staff goes at 12.
With Kinghorn on kicking duty.
Who's a better? Yeah, Kinghorn's a better kicker than Jordan. Yeah, Kinghorn on kicking duty.
Okay,
If
that's fine.
if he's out,
I mean,
um,
that's not as bad as the scenario you hit me with on like Wednesday. Like, let's just say everyone's out, and you asked me who the back line would be,
oh
and
yeah, no, no, not everyone was that. I said we Scotland have another injury crisis. I was I said White, Russell. I'll let you keep Tom Jordan. I said White, Russell, Hugh Jones, Van der Merwe, and Kinghorn was it? And Darcy all went.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So basically, the whole back line had to get shuffled around. You gave me that hypothetical. I rattled off a back line to you, and you went, "Actually, that's not too bad." I was like,
no, what was it? So potentially the whole backline other than Jordan goes down. I think it was from we went Horn, Tom Jordan, Hutchinson. No, we kept Jones. Jones was one of the only other ones we
you got
yeah,
you got to keep Jones.
you got to keep Jones, and then we had a back three of was it Reed, Stain, and Rowe? I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think I
Um,
no. I think you didn't give me Hugh Jones either. I think you made it really difficult. So I went. This is what it was. There, like, everyone but Tom Jordan in the backs was out.
uh-huh.
Who would you have? And I went, it would be George Horn, Tom Jordan, Staff, Rory Hutchinson, Kyle Rowe, no, Kyle Stein, Aaron Reid, and Kyle Rowe. And then the back three option on the bench, you would have it was Jamie Dobie, Fergus Burke, and Matt Curry. That was the one I rattled off.
Oh, Curry, yeah. Oof. That would have been tough.
Or you bring in Sissy.
Stacey, yeah, it was Curry or Stacey. Right, okay. We're just coming up for the hour mark now. We might actually get one done in an hour for a change. Score predictions.
Scotland.
I'm gonna,
Uh,
I'm gonna push on the exact score.
oh, like so, like England, da da da, Scotland, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. England 24,
Yeah.
Scotland 29.
Ooh.
There we go.
I'm gonna say a heartbreak of a 25-23 England.
You suck, man. How?
Heart over head, head over heart. I mean, no.
No,
um,
I'm thinking with my head as well.
I'd love to see like a 24-32 or something. Thus,
I'd love to see us put 50 on them if you're asking me what I'd love to see.
I'd like.
50.
I think for both Townsend and Scotland, I think the general public have got a lot of anger after the manner of the Ireland defeat. So I think Scotland need a big response. We've got a load of injuries, and I think our key players haven't had the best of campaigns yet. So yeah, I think Scotland need a huge response here.
But we do not need to hype ourselves up for this game. It's England. We do like if you say it to any Scottish person in any walk of life and you go it's Scotland, England, that's enough to get the juices flowing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sick of this crap that it's our World Cup final. We only get ourselves up for
No,
England. So,
I don't even think that's true, but that's fine.
uh,
So spoiler for like comments replies this week that Scotland only turned up for the Calcutta Cup match. Yeah, and until the France game, when did England last show up?
nope, that's it. That's
That's the argument. That's the argument I make. You can't tell me that Scotland only shopped to England. Yeah, but England don't shop to like any of their last 12 games, bar until like, well, excluding the France.
Ireland in the last Six Nations outside that was the last game that England turned up for.
Yeah. Oh wow, you beat Japan twice.
Woo!
To me, right, sorry. To me, that's on the same scale as our entire summer tour.
What do you mean?
Like we got so much stick for, oh, you've won all your games. You should have because you played Canada, USA, Chile, and Uruguay. I'm like, you just beat Japan.
Yeah.
How's that any different?
Yep. I mean, it was a Captain tour. Like, from what
And
I
it's
heard,
yeah,
Townsend was asked at the time, was it, look, what do you need um, going into this next Six Nations? Because he's been told, now, if sources are to be believed, he's been told that he has to have a successful campaign or essentially Scotland are going to move on. I don't know what counts as a successful campaign, but he was also
but
asked, look,
yeah.
what tools do you need? What can we do to help you? And essentially, the summer tour was a Captain tour.
There's a question for you, just to round off. Again, if you're believing the stories that are out there, Steve
Yep.
Borthwick has to win 4 of his 5 games to keep the job.
Now, this is a bizarre one because just the way that England's fixtures are set up, right? This is their last, no disrespect, difficult game.
Yeah,
Like, you imagine if they beat us, he will win 4 out of 5. But if he loses, he'll win 3 out of 5.
I
Like
imagine so. Yeah.
not unless
But
this new coach can get it up to beat England in the Principality on Super Saturday. And look, I've said since the start of the competition, I think that was Wales's most realistic chance of a win is England on Super Saturday, because England don't travel particularly well, and they're not looking super great. I think any injuries picked up throughout the campaign for Wales, the drop off between players and who they bring in isn't big. Any other teams get injuries, their squad level drops a lot. So for that's Wales's most winnable game. But the thing is, I still don't see England losing to Italy at home or Wales away.
probably not. But that's what I'm saying. Like the headline stated they has to win 4 games.
Yep,
So if we win this weekend, is that him finished?
potentially, yeah. I reckon the English public will be calling for his head if we beat them. It depends on the manner we beat them. Like if we sneak over the line by 2 points, I'm
Mm.
not sure. As long as it's it could be work in progress. This I could. Well, I don't even think that because England don't respect us at the best of times, and we have a huge amount of
So,
injuries, and we got pumped by Ireland. So I think even if we were to win by a point, the English public
but
would be for his head.
just remember, it is not the squad. Considering the injuries we've got, it's still not the worst team we've fielded against England and
Yep.
retained the Calcutta Cup. We spoke about this on the phone. We ran over that 2019 draw, and some of the players that we had in that, I don't get how we figured that out. So there we go.
Yeah. So look, from the English narrative, yeah, I think they lose. They'll be calling for his head. Um, and I think there's a bit after Gatland's walked. Anyone that's thinking of swapping their coaches, there is a little bit of external pressure because they'll be going, right, Wales might get first pick of the best managers currently available. Like, think of it. What Franco went in England.
Oh, oh, why?
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like if they've got if you're the head of English rugby, right, you have a contingency. At all times, there'll be written on a notepad somewhere who our number one picks on a day-to-day basis are to replace Borthwick if he was to leave. Um, it would not totally surprise me if Franco Smith is written down somewhere in Twickenham in HQ.
Mm.
So I mean, we wanted for Scotland. Imagine if he went to that's sick. I just the thought of that would sink my heart. But he got that one.
I've just, I've just thought of something, but I'm going to leave it just for off air, just between me and you,
Right.
um, just because it's fun, and I can't be bothered with the rage bait, so that's fine.
No worries. Look, that's us just gone over an hour. That's an hour and 5 minutes now. So let's leave it there for this week. Um, look, if you love this sort of content, please give us a follow, give us a rating. It really helps us out. If you're watching us on YouTube, comments help us get found more. So, just comment "Great Pod" or
Actually, just watching us on YouTube helps out a lot. I noticed that the numbers aren't great on YouTube.
yeah. So we seem to be
So,
all right on like Spotify and that, but on YouTube we're falling behind a wee bit. So anything that you do, will help. Um, if you want more takes from Murray and ourselves, we are both on TikTok. I'm Rugby Realm and Murray is Bliffle Rugby. Both of us upload content daily, so you'll get it's a lot shorter version type stuff. But yeah,
depends
we'll
on
be on there. We'll leave it for that for this week. If we get a chance, we might do a bonus pod, but we'll be traveling down to England. I sort of doubt it. We'll see how we go.
yeah. But anyway, here we go. Scotland's winning 5 in a row. See you next week.